Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Pushing Past Abilities, the new show that we have with Nick Tabor. My name is Michael Hummel. I am the founder of Wheels and Warriors and the co-host of the show. When Nick comes on, we are going to start the show. I met Nick through a live live cast that I did with Evan Carmichael. And we, within 5 minutes of talking to each other, we knew we wanted to do a show. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's see when Nick comes on. Nick is a wonderful guy. He's a podcaster. He's a black belt. Um, his voice is just natural and lends itself to this kind of show. I love how deep and he's a very charismatic guy. There he is. Let's see what comes on. When he when he joins, we'll start the show. There we go. Hey, Nick.
Good morning,
Good morning.
everybody. Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Happy Sunday.
Sunday.
Happy. How's it going, Mike, man?
Pretty good. How are you, sir?
Oh, doing good today. Doing real good today, man. Just a beautiful, beautiful, crisp New England air day. And I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Good. It's actually pretty nice here today too. It was cold yesterday, but it's pretty nice today.
What was it, 72?
Uh,
I was just,
I didn't check the actual weather, but it's just warmer today than it was yesterday.
uh,
Yesterday it was windy as hell.
yeah. Oh, yeah, man, my man. I understand. I understand.
Yeah, how's
Uh,
your
how we doing?
how's your allergies going?
Oh, we're doing okay. Yeah, actually, I've been waking up every morning. Like, I live next to one of the historic cemeteries of New England.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my house, it's like the ventilation's pretty good. So, we opened up the windows, and every tree had its pollen come through my window. So, I'm looking at, all at once, it's just like, so. I'm waking up with everything already in my system already. I'm waking up, I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, okay, I got to record. I got to do this. I'm ready for the show. I'm ready for the show. Let's do this. Let's go.
Woo-hoo!
Let's go. Let's go. Like, let's go. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm like, I'll be fine.
Figure it out.
Ironically, you know what the thing is that really kicks this is an allergy pill. And then walking in that cemetery,
What was that?
walking in the cemetery,
That cured it?
that kicks it out. I'm like, how did we? I'm like, I don't ask any of the questions really. I mean, I'm not a medical person, so I'm like, what happened here?
It's all those spirits just taking it from you.
I know, right? I feel good. I feel good. Oh man, today's gonna be a good day. I'm excited to talk about our origin stories.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this.
Me too. Me too. I think if anyone does have any questions on this, please feel free to drop them down below, or we'll, take the time to answer them as much as we possibly
Yeah,
can.
yeah.
And I was thinking also for future episodes, any open question that may come up, we could probably make a whole show out of that too.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah. So the easy stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'll go first.
Okay.
Uh, my name is Michael Hummel. I was born in 1978. My When I was 16, my mother told me a story. When I was born, the doctor who examined me told her that I would probably never walk, talk, feed myself, dress myself, and I should probably be institutionalized. And I could see the sadness and the hurt in her eyes, like right away. And this is 16 years after I was born. She was in her late 20s when I was born, and she was in her early 40s when she told me this story. And I could still see the tears and the sadness and how much it hurt her. And that was where my self-limiting beliefs started. Like, because of what he said, I started putting self-limiting beliefs on myself. And I've graduated high school, I've graduated college, I've owned a home, I'm married, I've had jobs. So I've overcome everything he's ever said. So now it's just a matter of me overcoming my self-limiting beliefs and what I put on myself. Um, I've I entered New York State Games for the physically challenged when I was 10 years old. I've won 57 medals. When I was 19, I joined. I was picked to go on what was called the Irish youth team. 15 kids from America went to Ireland. We toured around Dublin for 2 weeks, and for 2 days, we just did Olympic events. I did wheelchair racing, swimming, and there was triple jump, long jump, racing, slalom, things of that nature. And it was just a really great adventure. And I'm a huge history buff. And one day when we were there, we got to meet the ambassador from Ireland to America to Ireland.
Wait, what? Really?
We got to meet the ambassador from America to Ireland. Guess who it was? Jean Kennedy Smith.
Whoa! All right.
John Kennedy Sr.'s sister.
Yeah.
That was insane. I'm in this house, and it was like a mansion, but on her coffee table, she had pictures that I've seen in books.
Yeah.
So that was insane to me.
Yeah.
Anything. Dude. And also, kind of funny story. I was 19. The drinking age was 18.
Yeah.
So it was different there. So that was also fun because I was doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. So that was interesting. But yeah, that was an amazing experience. And when I was about 6 years ago, I met my wife, and that was the start of me healing myself, where my self-limiting beliefs started to fall, and I started to think about what I could do.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with her, and I learned a lot about life and love and my abilities.
Yeah.
So I owe a lot to her, and that's where I am.
I think we do. We owe a lot to our wives. I have a similar story with that. I was born 1984. Oddly, I was born the day The Karate Kid was released in my area.
Awesome.
And yeah, I know, right? It's cool. So it came out and I'm like, okay, this is kind of an omen. I didn't know that until years later when I was looking it up, and I'm like, that's the coolest thing that's happened for a while. So yeah. It worked really well. But I am a black belt. I am a black belt in the art of Chasundo, Kempo, and Taekwondo. So for the for this, it's been so much fun. It's the art that saved me. When I was 6 years old, I was looking for something to do, and my parents were ultra supportive of everything that they were doing, but they're like, well, you're going to do something, and they said, first you're going to do t-ball, we're going to try out, let's see how you do with t-ball, because it was very prominent in the city. And I'm like, okay, t-ball, I like baseball, I love watching it, so you're great. And I get to the and if you've done t-ball, there's a little stand to put the ball on there, you go ahead and hit it. And I set up, I'm ready to go. I looked at the ball, looked at the pitcher. Ironically, there was a pitcher there. And I go ahead, I looked at it, and I looked at the umpire, and I said, this makes no sense. And they're like, well, no, you can't play then. I'm like, okay, fine. And I'm driving down the road. We're from the baseball field, and there's this dojo studio where they had the owner of it painted the Ninja Turtles around the front. I'm like, what is that? I want to do that. That's so cool. And, so they're like, all right, well, see what we can do to enroll in this. And we had, it became the moment that really just ricocheted the rest of my life. For everything that we do, and I mean every single thing that we do in our life, anything, there's always moments that push us forward.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this was, of course, we wanted to tell the stories because you said limiting belief, and I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely. I think we all have this put onto us. There was a doctor who she said, and I'm sorry, no, it was the nurse when my mom was pregnant for me and I was about to be born. And she said, well, your son, the umbilical cord's around his neck and he's had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
You don't expect him to really do a lot. We'll make sure he's okay. But, you can always make him a ward of the state and everything will be fine. And they said, perhaps you can try again. And my dad looking, he's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to try again. We're going to do what we do. And my mom, who was, very religious, who says, she's like, all right, I'll pray to St. Anthony and we'll see what we do. We'll do the great things. St. Anthony responds. His middle name will be Anthony. That's what it is. My name is Nick Anthony Tabor.
That's cool.
Yeah. So flash forward a few years, there was, and I love telling this story, there was a teacher's assistant in my year of kindergarten. So I was put in, they said, the school system said, okay, he's got physical problems with his hand, physical problems with his leg. He's got cerebral palsy. He needs to go to the specialty classes.
Yeah.
And then it turned out that I was just sitting there bored and I knew everything and I did everything that everyone else did. But your outside puts the limited beliefs on you.
Yeah.
I mean, we all had that. And they said, nah, he ain't going to do this. And I was a kindergarten teacher who said, nah, he belongs in my class. Let's bring him in here. And it was a fight back and forth. But the teacher's assistant told her, don't expect him to do too much. He'll be happy. He'll get a job. Maybe he'll get married. He'll do things. But don't let high expectations on him because, he has what he has. He has problems. And so my mom's like, he'll do whatever the hell he damn well wants. He'll do his thing.
Yeah.
He'll do his thing, and flash forward a little bit later when I was working to be, eventually I became a black belt, but in the martial arts world at this time, people who are like us who have the issues, they eventually get the honorary black belts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They get the honorary belt. They say, okay, you've done enough. Here you go. You're good to go. No. I'm like, no, that ain't me. I'm like, if I haven't earned it, I don't want to wear it around my waist.
Yeah, I get that.
As much as it took me to learn how to tie a belt around my waist,
Mm-hmm.
in general, like now I don't even think about it. Just okay, fine. I'm like, at least I have to earn the right to earn that next belt.
Yeah.
To earn that next belt, to earn the final black belt. Let's get it done. But it's the belief in that the world puts on you.
Mm-hmm.
When we see this, and my message for everyone, if we want to try to see what a superhero origin story is, for us and for our people, and Mike, I don't want to speak for you either, but it's just now we can do this to push past it because we see who we are, when others may not. We see what we can do and how our life can be better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have the chance and we tell our story. And we tell our story for itself. So when we do whatever the hell he damn well wants. And my mom is telling me, she's like, look, you've made black belt, you've done this. I met my wife when I was 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the same circle of friends and had I think we knew of each other. And then she looked at me and she went, oh, cool. And the cutest thing is I have cerebral palsy in my right arm and my right leg.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're walking around the mall. Remember those kids? That was before Amazon. And we're we're walking. I got my left arm around her, and we're talking and having a good time. And she said, ever since then, I've always confused my right and left because you were always on the right side, but your left side's good. I'm like, that's the cutest thing, you know. that's that's the cutest thing, and it's still our beliefs in ourselves. And when we talk about powering past our abilities, I didn't really want to have the word disability in the show, because
Yeah.
when somebody says the other person is disabled, oh, they're disabled, what they're doing is they're pushing somebody down here. It's just our abilities are different.
Yeah.
Don't have the ability to walk a certain distance, but it took me a while to even learn how to run,
Yeah. I
or
get that.
do how to run or do that and keep pushing back. But I think it gave us the tenacity to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
What do you think, man? Like,
What?
what do
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Gotta keep going. I mean,
yeah,
you can't stop. I mean, the greatest compliment I've ever gotten was from my brother. Well, I've gotten it a lot, but from my brother, he was the first one who ever said it. He said, "Sometimes I forget you're in a wheelchair."
yeah. Really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was me. I love that. Um, it's just you got to keep going. You can't stop. My gratitude starts with my parents because they didn't give up on me.
yeah,
When the doctor told my mother that, it upset her, but
yeah.
it didn't stop her from taking care of me and making sure that I was going to do what I could do.
Right.
Like, like a similar story to your martial arts. I started wheelchair basketball when I was 10,
Yeah.
and
Cool.
I loved wheelchair sports.
Yeah.
It opened up the world to me because it was competition, it was camaraderie, it was working toward a goal. It was making plays, just being a part of a team. It was just amazing, and that's where the wheelchair rugby started, wheelchair tennis, wheelchair racing, and it was just a lot of things that I loved about wheelchair sports. And
Mm.
a few years ago, I started martial arts,
Yeah.
and I have a yellow belt in Kempo. So I've a lot of fun. And like you saying, if you don't earn it, you don't want to wear it. I
Yeah.
I was talking to my sensei, and he said, "Well, I'm not going to be able to do the kicks. I know that."
Right.
But he said, as long as you can defend yourself, you'll get there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know I won't be able to strictly go everything as far as what a black belt is, but as long as I can take care of myself and defend my house and my wife, I'm good. Because that's the goal. That's why I started it.
And you'd be surprised how many black belts are not perfect.
Yeah.
There's the rumor that floated around for years, and I actually was speaking to somebody about this at work, and he said, your hands have to be registered weapons when you become a black belt, but that is not true. That is absolutely not true. I said, if my hands were registered weapon, one of them is a shotgun that's stuck, and the other one is just fine. I said
Yeah.
that ain't 100%, man. That's not true at all.
Yeah.
A rumor I haven't heard in a while, but it's the journey of a martial artist is not something that is beginning to end. A black belt is a white belt that was stubborn enough to still stick around, and the belt faded to black.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, in reality, the belt faded all the black. There's still a student in there, and I mean, I earned my black belt when I was 17 years old. I'm 37 now.
Hmm.
Still learning, and even when I put the gi on and it says sensei over my chest and I'm teaching, I'm still the learner. And everything we do, I can name off probably 30 or 40 of the greatest people I have ever known, period, who
Hmm.
still have something they're building up for.
Oh yeah.
And regardless of what you're doing, regardless of who you are and how you got to that point, with whatever you got that point for,
Yeah.
like you in the wheelchair. Okay, you're in the wheelchair, and myself, it's like, okay, he has a bad right arm. Okay, so I just learned to fight this way,
Yeah.
instead of this way.
Yeah.
So, or the opposite way, so that way it's good. And thankfully, my wedding ring's on my left finger. I'd lose it, but we just, wherever you came from, it's what you do with what you have.
Yeah. Exactly.
What you have. And I mean, if anyone is listening to this, I mean, not everybody's going to go into martial arts.
No. Yeah.
Not everybody is, but you can take elements from the martial arts and say to yourself, over the tenets, there's 7 tenets I have of Cha Sun Do: courtesy, self-control, indomitable spirit, perseverance, integrity, honesty, and humor.
Okay.
And if you embody all those the best you can, you cannot embody every single one of them every single day or to the fullest of the ability.
Yeah.
That's between us and God. God does that, and everywhere else, and all that other stuff. But for us as humans who are perfectly imperfect, for us, what we've got to do is just take our best ability and literally put our best selves forward.
Yeah.
Whatever we're doing, and that reaches the soul of the black belt, is you're still there and you're still putting your best ability forward and doing the best you can every day, but also looking back and going, okay, what did I learn from the past and how can I apply that forward?
Yeah.
That makes you the best ever. I mean, if you're at yellow belt now, man, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome, because I'll give you a statistic.
Okay.
Okay 100,000 people join the martial arts at any given time.
Okay.
2 of them are going to make black belts.
Damn, that's a huge gap.
Yeah. So statistically, that's the way it's been, is 2 make black belts.
Wow.
So you reach that point when you're like, okay, I'm here. If you make it to blue, I don't know what your, for the Kempo order, I don't know what the order usually is, but for us, it's pretty much the area of a trio. Blue belt is about midway.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Okay.
if midway, you've gotten to the point where at least 12 to 100 people make it that far. And you are starting with, what is a so-called disadvantage. It's not a disadvantage. You're still there. When
Yeah.
others go, okay, yeah, I'm kind of good with this. And most people do about 3 or 4 classes and they're done.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love I decided I'm going to be a black belt. I just don't know how long
Damn right. Good.
I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I'm gonna get there.
Took me 11 years, man.
Yeah. I
Took
get
me
that.
11 years. I got it.
It's it's funny, like I've met people that it takes a short amount of time to get to the brown, which is the one right before the black,
Mm-hmm.
and then it takes years to get to the black from
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh, yeah. It did. It did for me. It took me, I was 9 years in, and it took a full 2 years. And the dojo that I ended up earning the black belt from had a preparatory belt, which was a brown with a black stripe.
mm-hmm.
And there was no stripes to it, but it was 1 full year. And then if you didn't pass that after 1 year or you weren't ready, that was taken away and you started over.
From what to white?
White. Yeah.
Crap.
You started over and went over again. And I'm like, yeah, no, I ain't doing that, dude. No.
Oh,
No, I ain't doing that. I put all this work to get this far. I'm not going backwards.
yeah.
I'm not going backwards. You're putting the belief on me. And he's like, I don't know, man. I don't think you can do it. And, and years later, he says, no, I always knew you could do it. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. Come on, sensei. No, that ain't right.
Punishment.
That ain't right. But it was an alternative motivation,
Get it? Yeah. Because you
for
don't want to go back, you got to work your butt off to get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, my grandfather was also a guy, Bill Tabor, who was a chicken farmer. And he always said one of the greatest quotes. I still tell this to my people, to my employees, students, everybody. And he said, hard work never kills anyone. It just makes people more interesting.
I love that.
And I'm like, I thought about that. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, he's right. He's right. It was like, and I'm like, yeah, it is. It's like, yeah. Have you ever talked to a lazy person? They're boring. I'm like,
Yeah,
you're right. You're
I
right. 'Cause
I've always thought I was lazy. For a long time, I thought I was lazy just because that's what I was told.
yeah,
So that's just what I believed, and the way I thought of it was like, I'm lazy, so I'm not going to do this.
yeah,
I'm lazy, so why bother?
right, right.
And that was obviously the wrong way to look at it, and I'm trying to change that right now. But yeah,
Yes,
that's where my default was.
but it's what's put back to you. So what your outside forces do to you that they say it, and it's there's no shame in it
Yeah,
that it's happened that way. You've gotten to that point, but you're here now.
yeah, yeah,
You're here now at this point, so you're working your way forward.
yeah.
You're working your way forward to do more. And it's if anyone is saying this, and I actually had a drop down text. I've had people, and I asked some of my students if they wanted to ask questions while we were doing this, just text me while I'm doing this
Yeah.
as well. So, ironically, one of them came up with, how do you, and let's kind of put this out there for anyone else who is listening to and who does want to go ahead and ask any questions, go right ahead, put them down there.
Yeah.
Put them down there by all means. So, the question is, how do you not let your outside forces affect you on the inside?
For me, they did for a long time. They did for over 20 years.
Yeah,
But it's
me
just
too.
for me, it's a matter of meditation, introspection. I'm a big believer and fan of self-reflection sessions
Yes.
where you ask yourself how you're doing, you check in with yourself,
Yeah.
and you're honest with yourself, because you can lie to yourself, but it'll catch up with you,
Hmm.
and
Agreed.
you'll find out the truth
Yeah.
eventually.
You
Be
are. Yeah.
truthful up front,
Yeah.
and I do it 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I am a big fan of journaling. And even if you're not journaling, it's just, to when I was a teenager, I fell in love with the music from The Doors, and I thought I was going to be a poet. And I wrote poems and just constant stream of poems, just journaling and working, and not knowing at the time that I was going through one of my most mentally challenging type times of my life, of really just working through who I was. But if you take time and write everything down, pen to paper, I'm not a fan of writing it on a computer, but physically writing everything out, no matter what happens, at least for you, it just gets it out there, and then you can see where everything is.
Hmm.
And also, if you do have the time to be able to do that, is just spending time by yourself in a room. Just let your thoughts go and just let anything else happen. And even if you're on, a lot of people on Instagram actually do this where they just go live and just talk out loud, and it's like self therapy. So it really is just making sure you feel, and you've said it perfectly, Mike. It really is just making sure you feel good about yourself. Your outside forces would not feel, does not do it. It's what I do in my mastermind is courtesy to yourself.
Yeah.
Having the courtesy of yourself just to say, hey, I feel okay today. Let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
I feel okay today. And the more self confidence you are, the more self confidence you feel, the better you're going to do
Yeah.
overall.
The more you think about how you're feeling and checking with yourself, and you examine how you're feeling and talk about, like, oh, think about how other people's thoughts don't really matter.
Right.
That's the important part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I would recommend also the book The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I read it about. I have it on audiobook, and I read it about once every 3 months,
Okay.
just to keep my mind in order.
Yeah.
And it's good to go back to. And it's 238 pages. You could read it in a couple hours. Just boop, boop, done. And it doesn't, it doesn't talk down to you where some self-help books are halfway decent advice, and the rest of it is you're smart for buying my book.
Yeah.
Yeah, we I firmly believe, really, it's the lesson of not taking anything personal
Mm-hmm.
from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Brian, I hope that answered all your question. I know he's probably going to jump in and listen later.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, there are
It,
other,
it's just not having expectations
yeah,
huge because that just leads to disappointment. And
exactly.
like, or just think about yourself as far as what you believe, what you think, and how you feel. The only real opinion I matter other than myself is my wife.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my I love my parents,
Yeah,
I love my brother, but what they think is what they think.
yeah.
The only one I think about, like and examine and like think about and appreciate and maybe take is my wife's. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I, I can relate.
Yeah, yeah.
I, I can relate wholeheartedly.
Funny story. This ring
Yeah.
is my grandfather and my grandmother's 25th anniversary wedding ring.
Whoa.
My mother
Cool.
gave it to me. Married.
Wow.
Yeah. They were
Wow.
together. My grandparents got married in 43, so this is over 50 years old.
Nice. That's,
Very cool.
that's great, man. That's great. Wow. Wow. I wow.
One
Wow,
of my,
yeah.
one of my
This
friends, and
yeah,
this ring,
yeah.
my grandfather gave me when I was 16,
Hmm.
and his stepfather gave him when he was young. It was so this one's probably 60 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
This one is a fox.
Oh, that's very cool.
If anyone said, I have a fox, my wife has a bear, and we wanted to be the elderly couple that would sit on a park bench when we're in our 90s, and we have the World War II generation that
Yeah,
has the same type of ring. The lady has the diamond, the man has the old style, service ring or whatever else they had, and they look at it the same thing. They look at us and go, "What was their life like?" And we want to make the life interesting of
yeah.
what happens. And it's not coming off anytime soon, and I don't want it to, but it's just having those green eyes. I personally think she brought it. She had this made by a blacksmith in Finland. I personally think she got this just in case if I ever hit anybody, they know where I was.
Mm-hmm.
So she could also track me too. But but
Yeah.
at least
Never
there's
take it off. Yeah.
yeah. But at least there's a life, man. There's a life. So um other thoughts on it. We had another question came in. How can actually came from Brian as well. How can we push past our limiting belief in our day to day life?
You want me to go first?
Sure.
Yeah. Just, think about the reality, like
Yeah.
what people think and how they over exaggerate
Mhm.
and make things too big is important because when you break things down and you talk about what the reality is, from there you can build yourself up and build what you can do up and what you will do. Like I'm a big believer in breaking yourself down to build yourself up.
Mhm.
Um, what people think isn't isn't really important. It's when you get to that point where you believe that, that's one of the most important moments of your life because you can build from that and become better in yourself. Not better as a person, but better mentally.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, because when you become better mentally and you have a better mindset and you love yourself and you are at the point where you can work to get to where your goal is, that's the ultimate. That's the dream.
Nice. I actually, you said that perfectly. I have nothing more to add to that. You said it. You said it perfectly well. Um, as I always end every episode, I will do a little bit though, but I always end every episode of my other podcast, Movie Theater Time Machine, with "Be good, take care of yourself, but don't be too good." And there, with that always being said, is what we would need to do is just make sure that you live your life well, be good and taking care of yourself, practicing self-care, but not to be too good where you can't have a little fun every once in a while.
Yeah, you gotta have
And,
fun.
just a little bit of fun or a little bit of time. You are a perfectly imperfect personality of anyone. So, I mean, when you have your limiting belief, it might be also that you're putting a lot more expectations on yourself than you realize.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think for us, I think, if we're just at least from my perspective, it's, man, Michael said it perfectly. There's a moment when you are going to be able to feel good about yourself. And there's a moment when you realize other people's opinions are just not that damn important. You
Yeah.
know,
No.
besides your spouse.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's really it. And I would say really big caveat. I know she's in the other room, and I've sealed off this office. Some of the acoustics could be good for this podcast, but I know she's hearing me right now. So my opinion of my wife matters.
Yeah. My wife is in the other room with our daughter.
Yeah,
Yeah. My wife is in the other room with our daughter. And you probably heard Bailey barking.
I did hear a little. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I did. All right. Yeah, I think this is a good first episode. What do you think?
I think so too, yeah.
Yes. Yes. All right. So if you've heard this already, this is the Powering Possibilities podcast. My name is Nick,
My name is Michael.
and we're going to do more coming out every Sunday, so to speak. So if you could follow me through Nick Tabor Fitness, best on Instagram is where I'm most active. And for
And
yourself,
Wheels and Warriors on Facebook and Instagram.
yeah, yes, and it's always about pushing past your ability to think, where you think you are at that given moment. So we're two dudes with some disabilities who are just telling life like it is. So, and I think, as we keep going, we'll try to figure out more of how we do this. So just stay tuned for more stuff, more fun. And of
Yeah.
course, any questions, feel free to reach out because we're happy to chat with you.
Yeah, just
And
come.
yeah, and also I would say, really, I will just say this one publicly, and because of the man who introduced us,
Yes.
Evan Carmichael, you are invited.
Yes. Evan Carmichael can come in here and talk to us anytime he wants.
Well,
He is our podcast conduit. I was
yes,
just this, yeah.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, and that's there always. I can never turn down a conversation with that man any given time.
Yeah.
Of course, for the one who created the climb for me and created the belief system for us as well. Yeah, I wish him well. So this has been episode 1 of Power and Abilities. This is our origin stories and more. So
Yeah.
see you next time.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right. So we're good with that. So I just stopped the recording. Actually, looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Just some minor edits, just with the volumes. I think
Cool.
we're solid. I'll put this up on Anchor.fm later.
Okay. Cool.
So it'll start spreading to others, and as it starts releasing, I think I'll just let them know, hey, it's on there. It's going to be very soon that it gets onto Apple, and then
Okay.
it'll rise from there, brother.
Cool, man.
Right here.
Awesome.
This is fun, man. This is great. This is great. I'm just glad I conned a few clients into sending questions.
What was that?
I'm glad I conned a few clients into sending questions.
Yeah, right? Yeah. That was cool. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
Oh, all right, cool. So we got that. We're good. All
Yeah,
right.
good.
I'll be saving this and spreading this around.
All right,
This is
man.
fun. All right. See
That's
you
awesome.
soon.
Come on. Yeah.
Bye.